beneficence. So that is the technique. This experience may dawn between two breaths. After breath comes in, and that is down, and just before turning out, that is going up. Be aware between these 2 points and the happening. When your breath comes in, observe. For a single moment or 1,000 part of a moment, there is no breathing before it turns up, before it turns outwards. One breath comes in, then there's a certain point and breathing stops. Then the breathing goes out. When the breath goes out, again for a single moment or a part of a moment, breathing stops. Then breathing comes in before the breath is turning in or turning out. There is a moment when you are not breathing. In that moment, the happening is possible, because when you are not breathing, you are not in the world. So the first sutta is saying that usually when in Vipassana meditation, we look at the breath going in and then we look at the breath going out. So when we breathe in, we feel breath in our nostril, it's going in, and then we become aware and the breath is going out. So mind will try to distract you from the moment, but if you're aware of your breathing, then suddenly your mind goes away. And even if thought comes, you just watch and it goes. You don't give energy to your thought. So in this technique, what Shiva is saying is, when you breathe in and when you breathe out, there's a point, a gap that you are not breathing. Breathing does not happen. So we have to be aware of that point. So when you breathe in, breath goes in and through your nostril and to your belly. And before breathing out, there's a certain gap. So it might be of one fraction. So be aware of that. And when you breathe out, after breathing out, after all the air has gone, it'll stop for a moment. The breath does not go in. And in that gap remains the whole answer that what Devi asked the Shiva. So in that gap, there is no thought, there is no breathing in or breathing out. Usually breathing in is associated with life. When you are born, when we start breathing, we become alive. And when we breathe out, it is associated with the death. So we are in this vicious circle of birth and death. But if you are aware of that point where you are not breathing in or breathing out, then you are free from this vicious circle of birth and death. And that might be a tiny space right now, but with awareness, with practice, it grows and grows and grows. And that is different universe. That is like different dimensions than we are living over here in Earth. So in that dimension, lots of truth is unrevealed to you, and lots of your illusions will be dropped one by one. So for 10 minutes, what we'll do is, when we breathe in, just find that gap and you just breathe out. Do it in your own pace so that you can know your own gap, okay? So that is the first technique. And the second technique, as breath turns from down to up, again as breath curves up to down, through both these turn, realize it is the same, but with so it is same as a first technique, but with slight difference. The emphasis is not on the gap, but on the turning. The outgoing and ingoing breath makes a circle. So when we breathe in and breathe out, it's not like horizontally, vertically it goes down and vertically it goes up, or it's not like it's happening parallelly. So when you breathe in and breathe out, it's a vicious circle. So just like life and death, just like anything else, So that's what Eckhart Tolle was referring to as the awakening process is not going upwards, it's like spiral. we come to the same situation again and again and again and again. But at that time, we have to see we are different from the last time. We are more aware now, more understanding has happened to us. So when we breathe in and breathe out, it's a vicious circle. So when you breathe in, try to see this turn that tries to go inside you. And when you breathe out, then again see that turn. So breathing in, that turn is going inside you. And breathing out, that turn is going outside you. So you are just looking for that turn. So when you breathe in, it goes to your belly and you're about to breathe out, then there's a certain turn of the breath. So you realize that turn, okay? And while meditation, I'll also be guiding you. So in that moment, when your thought is lesser and lesser, you'll be more aware of that turn, that breath is taking a turn. I know we never look breath so consciously, so with so awareness in our life, because we are consumed with our thoughts and our other activities, and all the answers are within us. And this is one of the technique to find that answer. So if you are aware of that turn of breath, slowly, slowly, you'll realize the gap between your mind, your body, your emotions, and you. You know, there's a witnessing happen. So that is the second technique of breathing. And the third technique that we are going to do is number 47 in this list. Enter the sound of your name, and through this sound, all sounds. So sound is very profound technique in meditation to dig deeper. So we have done Om, we have done humming, we have done chanting, so many things to penetrate, to go beyond our mind. This sound is very powerful, you know. With sound, when you sing, when you consciously talk, or when you chant, you have this, when your throat chakra is activated, you feel very powerful that you can penetrate deep inside. So in this technique, what we'll do is we have used other Sanskrit or Pali or other words to chant, right? So Om or Om Mani Padme, there's so many other things, but we'll use the sound of our own name. So name is something that we own it, we have it, but we never use it. It is something that only others use it, right? So if my name is Atmo, then I don't call myself Atmo and walk. So when other calls me Atmo, I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, you know. It goes deeply in my unconscious. And however people call my name, my memories, my emotions will come up. So what we'll do in this is, in this meditation, when I play the music, I'll just say Atmo, 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 Atmo. That is my mantra. That is my sound. Atmo, 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 Atmo. And then slowly, if some person calls me lovingly, they say Atmo differently. Atmo. When some person calls with anger, they call me Atmo differently. You know, so the feelings also has different names. So those feelings will also come up. And slowly, if you have a spiritual name, if you have a real name, you can experiment with that. If you have a nickname, you can experiment with that. And slowly, the way your teacher calls your name is different. When your mother calls your name is different. Your father calls your name is different. Your friend calls your name is different. Your enemy calls your name is different. And that sound, when it penetrates, it brings lots of emotions up, lots of emotions up. You know, only with that sound, the magic of the sound, lots of emotions. So you just continue starting with your name, and then allow other emotions to come and allow other sounds to come too. So you start with the name Atmo, then somebody calls you angrily, somebody calls you lovingly, then the way your mother used to call you will come, your father calls you will come, your grandmother, grandfather, whoever, your teachers will come, your nickname. If you have a nickname, use that sound too. If you have any other name, use that sound too, and see what kind of emotions comes up. So we are just watching this emotion, and suddenly if we keep on watching, all the emotions comes, all the thought comes, and you go into the state of no mind just with this sound. So this is a beautiful technique that Lord Shiva has given. So anything can be a mantra if you repetitively do it. There is emotions and there is psychological memories related to it, and allow those psychological memories to be released. Don't suppress it, allow it to come. So in this process, you might feel tears, you might feel sad or happy or angry, but don't label it, don't judge it, just allow things to come. Okay? All right. So as we go on, I'll explain you the technique too. So just find a comfortable place, just be relaxed. So take a breath from your nostril and be aware of the gap before you exhale. And exhale from your nostril, and there's a certain gap. Be aware of that gap before you take the breath in. Breathe in. Be aware of that gap in your belly. Sudden stop. Don't forcefully try to stop. Be spontaneous, organic. And you breathe out. Before you take next breath, there's a gap. Be aware of that gap. Don't give energy to your thought. Just be present in this moment, here and now. Thought will come, thought will go. Just focus on your breathing. When you inhale, and before you exhale, there is a gap. There's a stop. Be aware of that point. And when you exhale, before you take your breath in, there is a gap. There is a stop in this point. Be aware of it. give energy to your thought. Be aware of your breathing and the gap before you breathe in and after you breathe out. Now, second technique, when you breathe in, focus on the turning. When you breathe out from your belly, focus on the turning. So this breathing in and breathing out creates a circle. The same breath which comes in goes out. So it must have a turn inside. There must be a point where the breathing coming becomes outgoing. As breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns, realize this turn. Realize the turns and you'll realize the self. When your breath goes in and turns out, it passes through the neutral gear, and that neutral territory is our true nature. You are neither a body nor a soul, neither physical nor mental. In that neutral territory, you simply are. You are simply an existence, pure, simple, unembodied, with no mind. That is why there is emphasis on the turn. When you breathe in, breath goes down, there's turn. And when you breathe out, breath goes up, there's a turn. As breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns, realize. Be aware at the turn, but it is a very short turn. Very minute observation will be needed. And we adjust without any observing capacity. We cannot observe anything. Now, third technique, with closed eyes, start saying a name. Just say a name and feel the vibration, emotions in that name. Bhupen, Brianna, keep on saying a name. Mokshana, Nataraja, Prem Santi, Rikar, Sahi, Spurs, Subin. Just keep on saying a name. If somebody calls you with love, how does that name sound? If somebody calls with you anger, how does that name sound? Look at all the emotions, don't judgment. When your beloved calls your name, when your teacher, parents, kids, friends, spiritual friends, co-worker, how do they call your name? All with the same tone, and see what emotions comes up. Someone calls with you lots of love or lots of hate. Someone calls to make you feel warm, cozy, and someone calls to bring you down, make you feel cold and worthlessness. Keep on saying your name like you are chanting a mantra. Penetrate below. Your name is a utility, a device so that other can relate with you. How others say our name can go deep into our unconscious. Lots of emotions. Your childhood friends, your teenager friends, your high school friends, your coach. Try to remember how do they say your name, with what tone, and say it with that tone. If you have any spiritual name or nickname, you can use that too. We never use our name, only others use it. We have heard it used by others, but it has gone deep, very deep. It has penetrated like an arrow into our unconsciousness. If we ourselves use it, then it becomes a mantra. Suddenly we'll feel if someone else is using our name as if it is not ours. When we call our name, it looks like as if it belongs to someone else, not us. And it is very revealing phenomena. We can become witness to our own name. The name, our whole life is involved. Separate from this name, we'll be separated from the whole life. And this name has penetrated deep within us because everyone has called it since our birth. We always have heard it. So use this sound. And with this sound, you can go to the very depth of which the name has gone. Keep using a name. Enter the sound of your name, and through this sound, all sounds. Just keep mentioning your name faster and faster and faster and faster. No gap between. Now just be relaxed. You can keep sitting or lie down in Savasana. Just be relaxed. Now be aware of anything outside and inside you.